At the beginning, yeah.
Like the Sam pick kind of elevated, especially for you. I know that elevated shit, but I was like, dang, y'all picking like y'all got a good spot to get some folks. I feel like y'all reached on some people, like especially like day 2, day 3.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, Alabama from Alabama, like the 2 Alabama picks. Y'all could have waited on those.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, all right. So we good on YouTube. Let me get this out so I can share it, and then I'll post. Mute. Oh, you muted. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
What's Dallas hashtag on Twitter?
Hashtag Dallas Cowboys. That's it. Or hashtag Cowboys. Either one. How you feel about y'all UDFAs, bro?
I haven't looked yet. Pull them up for me.
Gotcha. Drop it in the chat.
All right, can you hear me? What's your levels like? You good? Get my mic together.
Yep. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Bet. All right, bet. Let me hit record.
Sure, record.
Are you ready?
Let's get it.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode. See, I messed it up already. Welcome back to another episode of the DND Football Podcast. You got your man DH.
Yo, what's your man DA in the building? What it do, folks?
Hey, man, we're back in the building after the draft. Going to break it down and talk about it. Before we get into it, I want to let you guys know that if you're listening or if you're watching live right now, we appreciate you on YouTube. What up? Make sure you comment in the chat. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Everybody coming over from the spaces, we thank you.
Thank you.
In the building with us, and we're going to break down this draft. Also, if you're listening right now via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other place you can get podcasts, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. And if you feel so inclined, do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review. You can get your
5 seconds of fame.
That's it. That's all. Once again, appreciate you tuning in. It's been a little while since we had an episode, but you know, the paths have finally crossed again post-draft, and we're gonna chop it up and break it down. But before we begin, Lee, I have to take 5 good minutes and discuss one particular pick that was made in the 5th round of the draft by my Washington Commanders.
Go
Is
ahead.
it all right if I do that?
Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been under a rock for the past couple of hours, the Washington Commanders drafted quarterback Sam Howell, number 7 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Drafted Sam Howell out of UNC. And listen, bro, let me tell you something, man. When the pick went down, I literally lost my mind, bro. Like literally. I'm a little sore right now from the cartwheels and the backflips that I was doing in the backyard, bro. But this draft pick per se, man, really struck a nerve. And Lee, you know, I've seen every Sam Howell snap. I know the behind the scenes stuff with Sam, being able to see him come in as a true freshman and take over the reins after flipping from Florida State, you know, taking Carolina that first year to the Military Bowl where I attended. And then the second year, taking it to the bowl against Texas A&M, having Michael Carter and Javonte Williams in the backfield, balling out, being picked last in the draft, to this final season, losing a couple playmakers, but still having a great season, to being selected by my hometown team, bro. I'm so excited. He's definitely the quarterback of the future. And we talked offline about Sam and just what he can do. And the dude is a natural leader. It sucks that he failed so far. But
does it?
I mean, no, I'm glad he fell to us. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
I mean, after 2020, if he could have left after 2020, he would have been a top pick after that year. Because yes, he would have.
A top pick in what round?
Lee, don't piss on my parade.
Hey, bro, have you seen the player comp for Sam?
Don't piss on my parade.
I'm about to.
Please don't piss on my parade, bro. But no,
I compared that back with a Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniel has a long career in the league.
Okay? Doing what?
Backing up, but that's all right. But you're not gonna piss on my parade, bro. You're not.
All good. All good.
But no,
your fan base is already doing that. But go ahead.
That's true.
Go ahead.
But I'm super excited about the pick, bro. Just having some conversations with some people who are privy to Sam's career. I had one quote that said, if you allow Sam to get on the field, Carson will never get back on the field. Sam is ready. He's determined and ready to work. The dude is a hard worker. And, bro, I promise you, bro, Sam is ready to roll. And whenever he's called upon to do his job, he's going to get the job done. Okay. All right. So let me take my fan hat off. That part is done. I just want to give a big shout out to the front office for getting my guy, because that's the guy. And I even told you a couple episodes ago, I said he would end up with the Titans. Didn't I say that?
You did. You did. But you wanted them.
Of course I wanted them.
Absolutely.
But the Titans end up getting a quarterback. They got Malik Willis, which I think was a great pick for them.
Great pick, man. And he gonna come out ready, bro.
An awesome pick for Malik Willis. I'm sorry, for the Titans, for Malik Willis going there. But I wanted him. But I didn't think they were going to do that, especially after the Carson thing. I didn't think he would be able to come in our building. But
the way the draft was falling, I kind of saw him going to y'all like on day 3. It kind of was like written in stone that he was going to end up going to y'all. Like, y'all got a pipeline for like certain colleges, and UNC is becoming one of them. Alabama is the one. But yeah, I just feel like Sam was like a good fit for Ron Rivera and what he's trying to do. And to go back to what you said, like, if Wentz comes off, like, Sam will be ready to go. I'd take that from a leadership standpoint. I think Sam is a better leader than Carson Wentz, but and arm talent, I got to see it.
I've seen the fact that that's the one, a lot of things people say about Sam, that he's able to galvanize guys. He's able to, he's very likable. You even saw on the, as soon as he got drafted, he had a FaceTime call with Diami. Diami is super.
Yeah, bro. That was good to see, bro. I saw it on Instagram floating around. That was pretty cool.
And Diami's looking to rebound after the year he had. He's really ready to get it going. And that's another security blanket if he gets on the field, that he knows how the passes will come from Sam. But I mean, like I said, man, I'm hoping for us that he doesn't have to play this year, because that means Carson is balling and doing what he's supposed to do, what he came in to do. Ron said in this press conference after the draft that we looking at Sam as a project down the road. Not somebody that, he can come in and play if he needs to, but we want to be able to string him along and be able to get him to learn the playbook and be able to come in situations and challenge Taylor for the backup role. That's exactly what he said in his.
So I want to go there. What do you say to your fans who are saying he's Taylor Heineke 2.0? What do you say to them?
They haven't watched enough film on Sam.
Okay.
They haven't. Because I'm going to tell you, if you look at film of Sam and it's fireworks. I was like, what's going on? Somebody shooting fireworks. But
they got a game?
Ain't no baseball game tonight.
I'm about to say, you right around the corner from the stadium.
They getting them fireworks ready for the summertime.
Yes, sir.
Fireworks. Let me get down. Nah. But no, if they are saying that he's that may be the baseball game.
I hear him. I hear him too.
Look, I'm hoping it's the baseball game. Enjoy stop me mid sentence, but that's okay. But no, if any of the fans that are comparing Sam to Taylor hasn't watched the film, bro, because Sam has an arm. He's a baseball player. Like most quarterbacks that play baseball got some cannons, bro. So he's a baseball player and he got an arm. He's a leader. He can run. He has tough run. He has great feet. The only knock on him was what? His height. You know what I'm saying? He's undersized in the height department. But I think for what we do in our offense, he fits perfectly. You know what I mean?
He's smaller than Baker, ain't
he? Sam is like 6 feet and like whatever he's closer to 6'1", but he's like on the shorter side. So similar to Baker.
6'1", nothing. Stop it. That man 5'11", dog. It's okay. He's 5'11". Stop it.
Don't throw shade on my guy, bro.
I'm not. Hey, I probably won't even get to see him on the field for another year or two. So I ain't got no hate on him.
I'm hoping that. But I've had a few conversations with some people who are privy to the conversation. Mm-hmm. Sam was super positive even throughout the slide. He was super motivated. He understood that this could happen.
He knew it was going to happen. Ain't no way going into this draft class with this quarterback class that you think you was getting drafted in the first 2 rounds.
But still, I mean, you know, sometimes you don't expect to fall that far. But he was under.
Bruh,
he was told
this was a bad quarterback class.
Was it bad?
I know that's your guy. But this is a bad QB class.
Okay, that's fair.
It was. It's okay.
But you know, he was still positive the whole time.
Fully so.
And when he got that call, he was ready and excited to get the call. So I'm excited about that. I mean, we spent so much time talking about one pick. We'll definitely get into the Commanders.
Yeah, that's not even your first round pick. That's like what, your 4th round pick?
We'll get into more of the Commanders full draft class and the Dallas Cowboys full draft class in a moment. But I want to pause and just remind you guys, wherever you're listening, do us a favor to like, subscribe, share with a friend. There we go. If you feel so inclined to leave us a 5-star review, if you do so, you can get your
5 seconds of fame.
That's it. That's all. Let's get back into this draft, Lee, and let's discuss this first round. When the first round started taking place on Friday night, Thursday night, excuse me. When the first round took place on Thursday night, what were some of the picks that you thought were some surprises where they were taken in the draft?
Trey Walker going 1 overall was a shock, yo. I thought Aiden was going to definitely get the number 1 pick, the kid from Michigan. I thought he had that in the bag, but he ended up going 2nd. And a couple teams actually surprised me early. But with that said, you got to keep in mind, like when you're drafted within the top 10, it's almost hard to like mess up the draft when you're drafting that high in a weak QB class. So you're not reaching for a quarterback. You're taking like literally the BPA. And that's best player available if you don't know. But for me, I think a couple surprises was actually y'all taking Doxson when y'all did. There was a quick run of wide receivers that just happened. And it was almost like you had to grab one or you weren't going to get one of the good ones. Some bottom tier, some less talented ones, but that first round run on receivers just kind of hit me off guard. And I was like, I thought we might be able to grab one. and it was completely wiped out. Like I felt like my board got wiped out, bruh.
So when the Commanders traded back from 11 to 16, right? They were able to acquire a few more picks, but at 11, I know the sentiments were, even on that day, was like, we should have drafted Olave in that spot, and then for Olave to go in that spot where the Saints took him there.
Yep.
Garrett Wilson had went at 10 right before that, and then
Exactly.
12, Jameson Williams went right after that. So there was a run on receiver. Drake London had already went at 8.
Drake London, that was your target. Y'all wanted Drake London.
Yeah.
Like I'm convinced y'all wanted Drake, but you slid back a little too far.
So when that run started going, and then they went to 16, and they come up with Jahan Dotson. I mean, it was definitely in the moment, people was like, who? What? I'm like, now listen, like I had seen his tape, but he was on the bottom end of the top part of the receivers. Like he was
right. No, I hear you. He had a first round grade, but at the tail end of the first round.
So I feel like, people were like, oh, he's not, Wilson, Olave, or Williams, he's not one of those guys. So they kind of was like, what are they doing? But when you take that night, right, the pick is already in, and then you go look at the highlights, bro. The dude has great hands. He was making big plays. And you got to think, at Penn State, they didn't have great quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to do a lot with a little. And I think for what Ron and Scott Turner does on the offense, he's be able to fit in that scheme. So I was okay on Friday after I looked at the film and was like, even in the moment, I was okay with the pick because I'm like, if everybody else gone, like, I mean, what do you want them to do? You know what I'm saying? Like they can't clone a guy.
No, but there were a couple guys who just like fell deep in the first round that really shocked me, like Jermaine Johnson getting to the Jets at 26. Like that was a shock, yo. This is a potential top 15 player. Like, how did you get that far? But again, this draft was a crazy ride this year.
Lee, if you look at all the people that did mock drafts, bro, like nobody has a correct mock draft. Like everything was kind of like, it could be this guy, it could be that guy. Some things was happening, some were surprises. Some people were like locked in the spot that they were. But like you said, when receivers started going, receivers were going. People were moving and positioning, trying to get their guy. Evan Neal going 7th to the Giants. I was surprised because a few mocks a couple months ago had him going at the top of the draft.
He was top 5, the top 3 in some of the mocks I saw.
I saw some mocks that said he was going to the Jags at number 1. And then, they were saying him 1, and then Aiden Hutchinson going to Detroit because, the hometown connection, XYZ. Mm-hmm. But Stingley going 3 at Houston, then Sauce Gardner going right after that. So it was a run on defense at the top part of the draft. The first 5 picks.
5 picks. Yep.
And then you get into the tackles with Okwankwu and then Evan Neal, of course. And then that's when the wide receiver run starts. At 8, the Falcons took Drake London, and then Seattle took Charles Cross. And then 10, 11, 10, 11, and 12 were all receivers. You know what I mean? Taking the top half. So the way the top half of the draft kind of played out really set the tone for the rest of the draft. That guys were sliding, teams are gonna jump to go get who they wanted. It may be considered a reach, or it may be considered a slide, but teams were definitely set to get in the guys that they wanted.
I just want to mention that one team in particular kept moving around the board in a way that jumped in front of my team quite often, and that's the Tennessee Titans. The Titans took a number of players that were on my Cowboys draft board that I'm well aware of, primarily Treylon Burks. Burks was definitely going to be our number 1 pick had he not been taken. And I felt like we kind of ended up just reaching on a tackle that we would have gotten in the second round. And, Tyler Smith, I don't have an issue with the pick. I honestly think that they're going to move him into guard, let him play left guard, get his feet wet, and then kick him out to tackle once Tyron finally kicks the bucket, if that works out. But Yeah, Tennessee, man, y'all jumped in front of us a couple of times, and just like either a pick ahead or like 2 picks ahead, and you took like quality players that were definitely on our draft boards.
And I mean, the flexibility that or the movement rather from the Eagles, getting AJ Brown in a trade rather. I mean, nobody saw that coming. I didn't. I mean, I know
Yeah,
they
that makes the Cooper trade look even more dumb now. Even more dumb.
what
AJ
did
Brown is not even the quality receiver that Amari Cooper is.
what did Dallas trade
A
Amari?
fifth, bruh. A
Ridiculous.
fifth. So the organization just wanted to get rid of the guy. They didn't like him. It wasn't about value. It wasn't about getting the best for the player. You traded him for next to nothing.
They would have been better off holding them and waiting.
Should have waited. Should have waited. You could have got a right. You could have got a first and third for him had you waited to Thursday.
Yeah, Dallas, and we talked about this in previous episode. Dallas really blew that.
But they always do. They degrade their own players for the sake of media attention, for us to be in a media cycle to keep our name going, and that devalues the player's value. So nobody's going to trade you a top, either day 1 or day 2 pick. If you just sat here and said that I'm going to cut him anyway and he ain't worth nothing, like, come on, man. Amari Cooper's going to kill him in Cleveland.
I agree. And Dallas is going to be like, bro.
Exactly.
I'm going to wish y'all had kept him.
Especially after the draft that Philly just had.
Ridiculous, bro. I mean, this I'm looking at the first round again. I mean, I think the biggest shock for me in the first round was Pittsburgh going to get Kenny Pickett at 20 that early. Because let me tell you, I honestly believe that you look at how the rest of the quarterbacks fell, they could have waited on that.
But yeah, Pickett was another one on my draft board.
I mean, I guess they say Kenny Pickett was the most quarterback. The most ready to play quarterback right now. But even still, like, is he gonna sit behind Mitch? Are they gonna start him?
I think you start him.
You got to almost. You got him at 20.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to sell that to your fan base. So I mean, he's a hometown kid. Him going that early, I definitely think they could have waited for that. But let me tell you something. Mike Tomlin is more right than he is wrong. So
Agreed.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he know what he's doing. And speaking of that, man, I've been in spaces on Twitter, pretty much for the past couple of days, and it's so wild. And shout out to everybody that's from the spaces that's tuning in right now. Appreciate you guys. Really had to talk some people back off the ledge, bro. Because
that's every fan base though.
But the thing about it is, bro, like, look, we're not professionals, right? We just talk about the game that we love. We can see things and we can say one thing, but there's people that are truly working this job day in and day out that know a whole lot more than we know, right? Nobody, if somebody were to come and tell me about my job and they've never worked at my job, they can't tell me about my job because this is what I do. This is what I know how to do. So the reaction from all fan bases was like, oh, they shouldn't have picked that. They shouldn't have did this. They shouldn't have. Nobody knows how these guys are going to play out. Like, nobody has pads on yet. Nobody has ran any routes. Nobody has taken any snaps. So we don't know what these guys can be. You know what I mean?
But I think it's more so the hope, because you hear, oh, this person was a 5th round pick and they're all pro. Like, that rarely happens, yo. 5th round picks rarely make your team. When you really think about it, like, they rarely make your team. And I had folks in my fan base, mad that we actually turned in the car for Damon Clark, LSU linebacker, like, incredible talent. Had a 2nd round grade on the kid, but the spinal fusion surgery, it's like, I don't know if I want to touch him, that early in the 2nd round, that winging a prayer. But a 5th round picks don't even make your team. Yeah. Go ahead and take a chance.
The thing people were saying about Nakobe Dean, right? Like,
take a chance, right? And a 3rd round pick on Nakobe Dean, and he's a 1st round talent. Come on,
and for
you
him,
can't beat that.
For him, it's all about whatever situation he's in. Like, with the thing we were saying, a lot of Commanders fans were talking about Nakobe Dean. I was like, look, we're not in a position at that position to have guys that can wait around, right? We need guys at linebacker that can go and be impactful today. You know what I'm saying? So spending a draft pick on a guy that's not gonna get into your immediate rotation right now may not be worth it. Now on the flip side, when you look at the 5th round pick with Sam Howell, that's a position where you have a legitimate guy. Ron said Carson is the starter, so you can bring him along, and you got at that position, you got a legitimate starter. But at linebacker, we don't have room to get a guy that we can afford to have a project on. Like, you have to get a guy that can plug and play immediately, and that has to be addressed right there. So that's what I mean. I was saying with some of these other picks, like, people like, why haven't they drafted Dean? I'm like, because he's not able to play right now.
That's my fan base too.
He hasn't even had the surgery yet. So once he has the surgery, he's still at best maybe back, week 10, week 11. And at that point, if you're out of the mix, you might as well keep him out.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point there. And again, it's based on like your team setup, what the need is. Can you afford to wait on a pick this early? And so, in our case, I would have loved to take Dean because, like Sam Williams, I felt like we could have got him in the 3rd round.
Right.
Only thing about Sam Williams in the 3rd round, we wouldn't have got Jalen Tolbert because I think he would have been gone. But I'd much rather have Tolbert than have to have wasted a pick on someone else that probably wouldn't pan out. But Sam Williams, at least for this team, the Cowboys, I feel like he could be an impact player at some point. I don't think he's going to come in and immediately contribute, which you kind of want from your 2nd round draft pick. But our depth chart at D-line at the right end slot is just kind of wide open. If it's your job to win, at this point. So, I wish we could have gotten Kobe Dean. I was on that, hey, get Dean. He's there. He's sliding. Go ahead and take a chance. But Philly really aced this draft. And I told y'all a long time ago, watch out for Philly in this draft because they are going to make some moves. And they did. And they shored up the 1st round for next year because now they have 2 picks also next year. So Philly is coming.
Indeed. Before we get into round 2 and additional information, I want to remind you guys that if you're listening right now via any streaming podcasting platform, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. And if you feel so inclined to leave us a 5-star review, you can get your
5 seconds of fame.
That's it. That's all. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, checking out, commenting, posting, reposting, everything. We love that. But DA, tell me this. When Jerry showed the chart, what was that about, man?
Bro, he's trying to justify the pick because everyone said we reached. It was a reach. So we were right about this player. We had
it's the grade we had on him, XYZ.
We had a 1st round grade.
Is that
no, you didn't. You did not have a 1st round grade on him. Like, he was a 2nd round grade player. He was like the 5th, the 7th best tackle on the board. You were not hoping that this worked out this way. You just reached. Say that. Like, you saw it falling. You saw tackles getting wiped out. You wanted to address offensive line. And you still could have got Corey Lindstrom. You could have got him, the center, all pro in the conference. You could have got that guy. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not mad at the pick. I just was like, I hated the way Jerry tried to justify it. Like, we're so much smarter than everybody. But I will give Cowboys a little leeway because when we do pick offensive linemen in the 1st round, we typically don't miss.
Y'all hit, bro.
So we don't miss. So even Travis Frederick had a 3rd round grade and we drafted him in the 1st round. And he ended up being an all-pro for years before his sickness took over his body. But again, I'm not knocking him. I just don't like the way you tried to justify that.
And the fact that you said that was perfect because I said the same thing in the space earlier today. I said out of all the positions in the past couple regimes that the football team and the Commanders hit on is defensive line. So when they picked up Phidarian Mathis, shout out to the name, when they picked up Phidarian Mathis out of Alabama, I was comfortable with that because let me tell you something.
I felt like that was a reach.
I mean, it definitely.
And I'm a Bama fan, and I feel like that was a reach.
I definitely can see that, but they don't miss on D lineman, bro. The fact that they were able to draft Tim Settle late a couple years ago, now he's on to another contract in Buffalo. They drafted Matt Ioannidis mid-round a couple years ago. Now he's on another contract in the Carolina, you know, they don't miss on D linemen. And the fact that I was saying to guys, I was like, look, man, if you get a healthy Chase Young, Montez come back healthy, and the pressure off the edge, you got a ferocious front, you know, with Jonathan Allen and Mathis coming in certain situations, they will be able to press the quarterback and be able to make some plays in the backfield and get some TFLs. And get some sacks on the quarterback, because that's what you want. And it was crazy because when Ron mentioned that, he said Phil Daniel was coming in as a rotational player. People was like, rotational?
Yeah, because he's a 2-down player.
Exactly. People come rotate. No, we need guys that can play. Bro, what you got to understand is that if I can get a fresh guy that can come in on 2 downs and be the most ferocious dude on the field for 2 downs,
that's what you want.
That's what you want.
Right.
That's what you want. Nobody complained when Matt Ioannidis wasn't playing. Matt Ioannidis was playing 2 downs. You know what I'm saying?
Aaron Donald is not popping up in the second round, folks.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you know, let him come in and do his thing. And that goes back to the end of the day, right? Like we may see some of these deals go down and be like, what are they doing? But I'm confident that they know what they're doing more than I do, right? I've only played defensive line in high school. I never was a professional defensive lineman, so I can't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they know what goes into it. The fact that they legitimately had last year, they had like a 6 to 7 man D-line rotation, you know, in the past 2 seasons that were good guys that were able to get in and press the quarterback how they do it with their scheme. So I was actually okay with the pick. You know, I've seen some of I've seen his tape. I've seen him in the games. And the dude is a monster, bro. He's a huge dude, a space eater in the middle of the defense. Definitely would have been a reach. But look, you get a guy from Bama that knows how to play football. Jonathan Allen said in one of the spaces that we were in that, you know, playing at Alabama prepared him for the league. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
That's one thing I can say about Nick Saban. Nick Saban will have you, bro, when Nick Saban sit on your couch as a high schooler and says, look, I'm going to get you, you can be in the competition for the national championship, and you might get drafted by the Commanders, bro. Like, what else do you want?
only coach to have almost every draft class that he had won the national championship. So, hey, look at here. It's something about my folks over at Bama. And I do want to say, y'all chose the wrong C name. Y'all shouldn't be the Commanders. Y'all should be the Crimson Tide, because y'all are ripping off all my people from Alabama, bro.
The Washington Crimson Tide. Well, look, if they ball out, I don't care. Bring them all to us.
Literally just taking all my players, bro. But I'll say this. Coach Saban does get these guys ready. They're right. They're like professional. They're ready to play. They know their role. They know their positions, and they're ready to go.
You said they know their role and they shut
their mouth. You hear me? They're football guys, and they're ready. Like even like dating back to like Amari Cooper. I got to go back to this Alabama guy. Like you cannot tell him that he don't know football. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's chess to this dude. You know what I mean? And that's how Saban prepares his players. So I'm really excited to see some of the things that some guys from Alabama do in the league. Most of them go to your team, so I'm not that excited about them anymore. Prime example, Bryce going to y'all, but you know, things happen, you know.
Hey man, second round played out pretty well. I mean, some good picks. Some teams were finally getting active. Green Bay taking Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. You know, Breece Hall going to the Jets. You know, the Texans picking another defensive back and Jalen Petrie. Like, you know, it's a lot of defense was taken this year, bro. And I think, did Georgia have the most defensive players taken, bro? Like, I think Georgia whole senior class.
Georgia had the most players taken in this draft. And I think it was more popularity than anything because they won a national championship. But Bama was second. I want to make sure I point that out. But again, had Bama won, we probably would have won again this year for most drafted players. But I think Georgia, when I looked last, Georgia had like 11. Alabama had like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah. So I want to get into real quick the Commanders' third round draft pick, where we picked Brian Robinson, running back from Alabama. You've watched him up close and personal. Give me your thoughts on Brian Robinson, his college career, and what he will bring to the Washington Commanders.
Yo, Brian is a short yardage back, in my opinion. He's scrappy. He'll fight. He'll fight for the extra yard. He's a power back, in my opinion. He doesn't like blow you away with his speed, but he'll truck a Bama over if you don't tackle. I'm interested to see how y'all utilize him with that like 3-back monster that y'all probably should try to present. I think he could probably be your 2 and kind of just come in as that 1-2 punch and kind of just clean up some of the dirty work. But you got to utilize him right. You cannot, he's not a feature back, in my opinion. Like
Right.
he is not a feature back. He's a change of pace, power option for you. He's not the speed guy. He's a power.
Well, they mentioned that they're trying to mimic the D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart type scheme.
Yeah, makes sense.
You have Gibson and Robinson in the backfield, and then even in third down situations, McKissick. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a passing option. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, being able to have Brian Robinson in there, and I saw some tape of him just blocking, bro. Ferocious blocker in passing situations.
He trucks, bro.
Downhill guy, that will just not afraid to truck and put his shoulder down. I mean, I loved it. And another Bama pick right there. He's gonna bring his lunch pail and hard hat to work every day and be prepared to ball out. So I was actually cool with that. I think the pick that really surprised me in the third round was Matt Corral going to Carolina. Throughout this whole all-season process, remember, we hadn't really heard a whole lot about Matt Corral, only because he wasn't a senior, so that he wasn't at he didn't have the Senior Bowl stuff. So we really hadn't heard a whole bunch about Matt Corral. So him going there, which was a need for Carolina, I thought that could have been a spot for Sam to go to, with the hometown ties, etc. So I thought that would have been an option. But Matt Corral going to Carolina, what did you think about that pick?
Like, I'm trying to find something for it, and I just thinking Golden Corral, like everything but him. Like literally, I didn't really have any expectations for that pick. I wasn't looking forward to seeing him go that early. I figured he was gonna go a little bit later.
Yeah, I thought he would go later too.
But only because Sam was probably the third or fourth quarterback on my board, and I didn't have Corral that high at all.
Well, if we rewind to the 86 pick, that's when Malik Willis went to the Titans. I know you got some on that, so give us that.
League is it, bro. And he's going to a great situation, and they're going to run the ball. So that's going to open up the passing windows for him.
When they go play action,
they lost AJ Brown.
He can do that throw that he did at his pro day.
Oh, yeah, all day. All day. But now that they lost AJ Brown, I'm a little concerned. And Coach Vrabel, when they traded him, he was hot, yo. He got up, walked away from the desk, and was like, ugh. So, you know the significance of losing to AJ Brown. But I think Malik is going to go out there and ball out a little bit. Give him a year, let him develop. Don't rush him out there unless an injury happens. Give him time to grow. He's going to do some good things.
So you see how the narrative gets presented that, like what they said after his pro day, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, they were saying that he was going to go to the Steelers and Mike Tomlin was going to get him. And I'm sure at some point Mike might have wanted him, but he went with Kenny Pickett in the first round. Yeah. So I was just like, that's why I'm like, it's
but I don't think Tomlin got control over that though.
You don't think so?
I think that's an organizational move.
Mike Tomlin has been there almost 20 seasons.
Yeah, and I do worry about his input. I wonder how much input he actually has.
He actually has input on what they do. Yeah, I mean that makes
coaching
sense.
On the field stuff. I mean, he barely got like control over that stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much control he actually has in the draft. Like I don't think they allow him to like.
Well, he looked excited.
I mean, I'm getting paid more to do something I love to do, and y'all can pick the groceries.
What Jesse Spano say? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. But she was taking caffeine pills, bro, at 17, and was
losing it, bro. You would have thought she was on like that booger sugar or something.
Literally, those caffeine pills was like 3 coffees, bro. That's it. I had 3 coffees and I don't know. I can't stop.
Say no to drugs, kids.
Right. There's no hope with dope. Hey, your man, what's it, Johnny Dakota? Or something like that?
Yeah, and Johnny was definitely back that joint snorting lime.
Bro, don't let's stay on track because I could bring up those references all day. Another pick that I saw, of course, another Tar Heel. Easy. Joshua Izulu went to the Giants in the third round. A nice lineman. The Giants, I think the Giants kind of had a sneaky good draft, bro. Getting a couple getting the edge.
You gotta look at it from the standpoint of where they were drafting.
Yeah.
It's where they were drafting. And like for me, it's harder to mess up a draft when you're picking that early in every round.
Yeah,
because it's much harder to mess up the draft.
Getting the guys that slip.
Yeah.
You getting the guys that's top. I feel you.
Yeah, you picking at the top of the board each round.
Like, he's a Tar Heel, so I'm always gonna bring him up.
No,
Desmond Ridder went to Atlanta. What'd you think about that pick? I was surprised about that one.
I like the pick, actually.
You do?
I like the pick. I like the pick for Atlanta. With them losing Matt Ryan and Matt Ryan going to Indy, this gives Mariota somebody to compete against, and could be the quarterback of the future. Could not be. Could very well not be. But it gives you a little QB battle.
Well, he already has a lot of black and red stuff with Cincinnati, so he doesn't have to.
It matches.
Imagine that. I don't have to buy any new things. I can just wear my old college stuff. Awesome. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in right now. Of course, if you're watching the podcast live on YouTube, we appreciate you. If you're listening right now on any streaming podcasting platform, we appreciate you tuning in. Of course, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, because the whole offseason we'll be getting this in. And I want to tell you guys that during the regular season, once preseason starts, man, we're going to ramp it up. The YouTube page will be on and popping with a lot of content. We'll have weekly episodes of the D&D football podcast, also some quick hits throughout the week, and also be sharing a lot of news and notes that we acquire and learn from the week. So it'll be a great space to be in, and you'll be in the know with what we know. And we appreciate you for tuning in and checking it out. I want to ask you real quick, the draft as a whole, right? It was in Las Vegas. I gotta go to the draft, bro.
I want to go too, bro.
I want to go. The NFL does a great job at making these events feel super important, bro. They got people coming up, reading these cards, and the place is packed out, bro. If you look, they had that one wide shot, and you just look out. It looked like Woodstock, bro. People just, I can see people really pull up. NFL is really king, bro. Like, people pull up from all over the places, all over the country. They had the picks from the different countries. And I mean, the NFL just knows how to do it, bro. They do it great, bro. They can make anything a production. The same way they've been pumping the schedule release, like, bro, that's gonna be another big thing, bro. The NFL has
May 12th schedule come out, right?
Yes, the NFL has done a great job with making every month football.
And it's bigger than playoff basketball.
Playoff basketball, bigger than playoff hockey. Like, it's crazy, bro. Because I'm just
I love it. I'm football over basketball any day. So, and I love this time of the year.
I love baseball. I love basketball. But I've been finding myself watching USFL games, like just randomly, just watching guys.
Some of the games been good, bro.
They have been, and then to see these guys get drafted and just watching how these franchises are being shaped and how they're changing, like it's a joy to see, man. NFL really is king, bro. And every year they get a new crop of players that can take the league to the next level. So
of course they got that sad story. My mom and my daddy died, or my brother, sister got killed.
They tailed back on it a little bit this year. It wasn't a whole.
It wasn't as many as it's been in the past, but they still had like at least 2 or 3.
Like 2019, bro. It was like every third person.
Like, come on with this story.
I'm like, bro, I have people that die in my family, but I don't need them to be talked about all the time. Not necessarily motivate them. Dying doesn't necessarily motivate me to provide the best podcast I can. Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
I hear you. But hey, whatever motivated you to get in the league, hey, salute to you.
Facts. As the draft went on, man, I'm down in the 4th round. Some guys were getting selected, and Commanders traded out of the 4th round to get more picks. So I was there. I was like, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? But Little do we know they were making some great picks late. The one thing I will say this, I hate that the running back position has been devalued as such, man.
Well, you got the safety in the fourth round. You got my man, what's his name? Percy Butler.
Well, no, not him specifically. I'm just saying that the running back position overall in the league has been devalued. How the first round, not even running back was taken.
Well, yeah, well, running back, because I was saying Percy,
Yeah,
you got him in the fourth, but
yeah,
Percy's
I'm
a
sorry.
safety.
Yeah,
But running back has definitely been devalued. And for good, but actually, you know what? Something else happened in this draft that it's not being talked about. Wide receiver is now being highlighted because they don't want to start paying these top tier contracts. So notice like 17 wide receivers were gone between like day one and day two. So like that's a big deal because don't nobody want to pay, a wide receiver 20 to $30 million a year. Go get a brand new guy off the street, come right in. You can pay him pennies for the next 4 to 5 years and go that route. So I think they're starting to devalue not just running back, but wide receivers starting to come down too, bro.
and I mean, especially with the guys at the top getting paid the way they are, like, bro, they don't want to.
They getting 30 mil. They getting QB money.
That's crazy.
Tyreek Hill got QB money.
Yeah, he did. What do you think about the Jets draft, bro? I think the Jets.
Ooh, fire, dog. Fire. Honestly, I think the Ravens had the best draft, hands down. But the Ravens typically win the draft every year because they get the best value. They always move around the board at the right spots. They never trade away from a pick in a bad way. They always pick up better value and they draft BPA every time. And it's like between them and the Jets, and I'll say the Eagles, I think they killed it this year.
Definitely top grades for those three teams. They able to make some big moves in the draft, and like you said, move around the board, having chess moves, man, getting the best guys available. And a couple rounds, I think it was the fifth round, they went tight end twice. You know what I'm saying? And they and Jeremiah said that's common for them. They'll do that every couple draft where they'll get two of the same positions, and they both still work out. You know what I'm saying? They run a lot of 12 personnel, you know what I'm saying? One back, two tight ends where they can have at the same time. So, look, man, I trust Harbaugh, bro. Like, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They a physical team, and they want some physical players. They ended up getting a first grade talent in the second round coming off David Njoku.
And that's that Harbaugh connection, bro.
Like, bro, first round talent. You got him for a second. He gonna sit on the bench for a year and come back next year and be ready to go. Like,
I'm pretty sure John called Jim and said, "Hey, man, tell me about your guy. How hurt is he?"
Right.
Look, man, he's not gonna be able to play this year, but next year, bro, he gonna be everything you want. Say less.
That's all I need.
I'm picking him, bro. So that's when them relationships come in handy, bro. Were you able to, discuss and get some one-on-one info about some of these guys? Another pick that I saw that came off the board at the end of the fourth round with the Titans selecting the tight end out of Maryland. That's gonna be a tough name to pronounce. Chigoziem Okonkwo. That was okay. I did pretty good with that. My brothers and sisters. Hey,
did good.
But Okonkwo out of Maryland. Highlights look good, man. First of all, I think Maryland get a bad rap because they haven't played well in a couple seasons with Loxley, but I'm hoping Loxley can turn that program around. Loxley, a former Alabama guy.
Good luck.
Saying, yeah, it's gonna be tough. And the Big Ten is tough, bro.
It's tough. I mean, from the standpoint of recruitment, like in this area, recruiting for like top tier talent coming out of like Florida, they're going Texas. Cali, it's hard to get folks to come to Maryland. Like, we don't got much here.
Then the kids that's here want to go elsewhere.
Exactly, and that's another thing.
State, going to Florida, going to Georgia, like
and the kids who, for us, like the math is probably like the biggest like high school program in our area, and all of them want to go away from Maryland. Yeah. So, we don't have a big pipeline to the NFL like that. So we got to get these kids to go back to Maryland and kind of boost that up.
Maryland it's going to be tough, man. In the Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. Like, I mean, that right there, bro. Like, those are some tough squads. And unless you get lucky a couple times, you're not gonna be in the mix at the top of the Big Ten, bro. But they have to continue to work on that. But this ain't a Maryland football podcast.
Not at all.
This is a DND football podcast that you're listening to right now, live on YouTube. Also, any streaming podcasts and platforms. We thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you feel so inclined to leave us a 5-star review, you can get your
5 seconds of fame.
Finally, that's it. That's all. Also, make sure you check out some other programs we have. The Kings of the Ring, which is a wrestling podcast with myself, of course, my co-host Da, and El Coro del Roisto, where we discuss all the happenstances of wrestling, from AEW to WWE to everybody else from this side of the turnbuckle, the black side of the turnbuckle, where we discuss everything what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. So you can check that out as well. And we appreciate you, man, just being locked in. That's about to get ramped up even more. And then, of course, this football stuff is getting ramped up even more. I know the schedule release episode is going to be a good one because I'm working on that right now to try to get us some special guests, some people in the building that can help us discuss about some of these schedules and how these things might play out, man. But getting into the 5th round, of course, I had my whole little commentary on Sam Howell going 144 in the 5th round. And I'm gonna tell you, after that, it's a blur, okay? Because my phone was going off. I mean, bro, when you text me, you was like, so I knew when you text me, you knew I knew. Like, y'all, let me tell y'all this. So, like I said, man, me and Lee is my guy. Lee is my guy from middle school. So we talk all the time about everything. So he was like, y'all got Sam. And I was like, boy, I couldn't even text back in the moment because I was just too hyped. Look, the baby had just got put down for a nap, right? So I'm upstairs cleaning the chicken. I was about to grill some jerk chicken. And the lady came to the stage and was like, you know, the commander select Sam. I was like, yo, I screamed, bro. I was like,
I knew it, yo.
Slim, I swear, bro, like I haven't been that excited about a draft pick in a very long time, bro. Yes, I'm talking about no. I've been excited about Chase Young. You know, I've been excited. I'm like, yeah, that's a great pick. He gonna be a ball. But when she said Sam, I was like, you understand, bro? I broke bread with him. Like, I've seen him up close a person. So I'm like, I feel like that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what man. And the person we know said, I'm a Commanders fan. I said, what? He said, no, I'm not a Redskin fan. He said, I'm a Commanders fan. He grew up a Cowboy fan. He said, I'm a Commanders fan. I talked to him this evening. I was like, bro, I need to know what number Sam gonna take so I can order my jersey. He said, order 2. I said, really?
Oh, Hey, 2 is a nice looking number, dog.
No, he said order 2 jerseys. One for me, one for him. He didn't say that with me.
I'm done.
He said order 2. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, bad. So,
cool beans.
You know, I mean, I'll say this. I did, even in the midst of my backflips, I saw Cole Turner was drafted from Nevada, and the dude is 6'6", baller tight end, which is somebody that we were desperate for a tight end. That was something I said that I was like, we definitely needed a tight end. Logan Thomas come back.
You know, you're a UNC guy. What do you think about Todd Chandler, bro? What do you think about Chandler going to Minnesota?
I love Todd Chandler, bro. I love Todd Chandler. I think coming behind the Michael Carter and Javonte Williams exhibition they put on in 2020, he performed very well. He's a tough thumper. He reminded me of Gibson a lot, for real.
Okay.
He can thump, and he can also catch out the backfield. They ran a lot of RPOs in UNC, so he has good downfield ability. He keeps his eyes up when he runs. He's a tough runner. I think that's a steal for them where they drafted him. You know, I think he'll be a great player. And a couple mocks had him coming to us late in the draft. You know, they didn't have a lot of mocks with Robinson coming to us where he did. So they had a lot of mocks with him being drafted. in the 6th or 7th round. So him going to Minnesota, I think, was a great pickup for them. And Minnesota's becoming a team that's, taking Carolina guys. They took Chaz Surratt last year.
Yeah.
They took a D lineman the year before that. I can't Crawford, who's a D lineman up there from Carolina. So they see the value, man. They see the value. The Carolina program is creating a lot of pro heels, which is the hashtag they use. A lot of pro heels. They may not go at the top, but
they
go. They're gonna go.
They get drafted.
And that's the end of at the end of
they
the
start
day,
accumulating them numbers. We had somebody go in the 6th round. Add it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when in recruiting, that's what I'm telling you, because when kids are getting recruited, they look at that, bro. Like they see how all them guys come from Bama getting drafted, and being able to go and sit on the couch and say, hey, look, you're gonna get a first-class education, because that's one thing Carolina does have, first-class education. And then you play well, you might get your name called on one of these 3 days and change your life and change your family's life.
On day 3. It's okay to say day 3.
Look, man, just call me. I don't care.
No, I care. Because the money matters. I care.
But hold on. But now does it really matter when you got the NIL opportunities at different schools?
No, it still matters, because I would almost rather be undrafted than get picked in the 7th round.
Oh, yeah. Because
I would rather pick where I wanted to go at that point.
You undrafted, you can definitely go where you want to go. Definitely go where you want to go. So, but I mean, just being able to say that, like, hey, we get more guys drafted, and you're able to put that on the table when you do go and visit with some of these guys. You're like, look, you're gonna play some good college ball, and then you may be able to get picked up, the next level, even if it's the 3rd day. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? But it's Cole Turner, though. I mean, the tight end out of Nevada, dude got some ability, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Lee, I want you to give us. I mean, I've gone through some of these picks, but I want you to tell me as a whole, man, how do you think Dallas did in their draft? What were some of the picks that you were surprised with that you guys took, and what was some of the things that you kind of like, I'm really not really feeling those picks for Dallas?
Well, to get us started off, I'll just run through the order. Tyler Smith was a reach, in my opinion. I'm not, and that's not to say he's a bad player or a bad pick. The value just wasn't there for where he was picked in the 1st round. I think he'll come in. I think he can start at left guard. They call him a mauler. He has horrible footwork and bad hand placement and a lot of penalties. So he'll fit right into what we already do with penalties. Sam Williams in the 2nd round. Again, Dan Quinn worked him out a couple of times, and the connection was already made there. So I had a feeling they were going to get him. I thought he would go in the 3rd round, but they took him in the 2nd round. Again, I thought it was a reach. I thought he'd be there later. But they kind of saved the draft by taking Jalen Tarbert. Yo, Tarbert is nasty with it. Yo, he's a nice wide receiver, gets separation, good hands. The dude is just an all-around phenomenal, like, just wide receiver talent. You can line him up at any position. He's going to knock it out. Jake Ferguson, solid tight end pick. Nothing special there. I think he's an average tight end. Not going to blow that out. Matt Waletzko. I think he's a tackle out of North Dakota. Had some good tape on him. So some good things about him. I still think he needs to be developed. I don't think that's going to do much for us. He might be swing tackle. DeRon Bland in the I think he was in the 5th round also. Yeah, 5th round. DeRon Bland, DB. Not too excited. Don't really know too much about the kid. Got to watch some film on him. Damon Clark out of LSU in the 5th round. I thought that was a great pick. Again, he's got to get the spinal surgery that he already had the spinal surgery. So he'll be battling that. I think next season he'll come back. He can compete with Jabril Cox for the linebacker position. So LB room kind of shaping up a little bit. But the pick that I'm kind of excited about is John Ridgeway, defensive lineman out of Arkansas. Bruh, I know you don't care, but his call with the team when they called him, he was like, yo, I'm ready to break somebody's neck, yo. Like, yo, we need that energy, bruh, because, like, we kind of got bullied against San Fran, and we need some attitude. And I feel like this draft wasn't about picking the best player available. It was kind of about traits. It was more about picking for depth in picking for players who kind of had like moxie or attitude to them. So a lot of our picks kind of matched that. It wasn't about taking, oh, this guy's really talented and he's a really great guy. It wasn't about great guys. It was, we got some more questionable dudes in the building, and we're already a team for drafting questionable people, Kelvin Joseph. And so Sam Williams has some, I think it was like a assault or some stuff that was happening with him when he was at Ole Miss. So boom, there you go. Criminal records.
You say you need some thugs up in there.
We need some thugs on this team, bro.
You need some Andersons up in there.
We need some enforcers. Carry the Glock. Strap it up,
bro. We need some not tall heels. We need some heels.
Some real heels, bro. But I mean, Cowboys are just too finesse at times, and we need some nasty maulers, bro. And so I think this draft kind of helped us with that a little bit.
Nah, big facts, man. You know what? And sometimes, like you said, man, you need some guys, some attitudes, bro. You know, you need the guys that's gonna get you a 15-yard penalty, but in a good situation.
Right. Do it at the right time. Not in the fourth quarter where we could potentially take the lead over.
Not like all them highlights.
Randy Gregory.
Not like all them highlights where we saw George Pickens, where he was beating up on defense. Bruh, I was so annoyed.
I wanted George Pickens.
But look, like they were showing them, like I was seeing the highlights. They was like, look at him. I was like, Slim, that none of that means anything to me. Like, if you're running that way and I got a guy in the DB in the face and I'm going back and forth with him and I'm in his stuff and I get a 15-yard, that's useless. Like, that's not even in the play.
Right.
Like, you do that in the play, bro. Don't do that after, you know what I'm saying, after the play is long gone. Like, you're just creating issues. Like, I want that between the lines in the right times. So that kind of turned me off. Some people was posting on Twitter. They was like, oh, look at George. He's a mauler at receiver. Oh my God. Look at that. I'm like,
he bulldozed some folks though.
But some of them
trucks some Bamas.
Go ahead, do that. Give you a nice little 15-yard penalty.
Oh yeah, you do it at the wrong time.
NFL DBs, they're not gonna stand for that, bro. They look, you can go up and you won't. You get a linebacker forearm you the next time you get
don't do that against Tampa Bay. Automatic flag. Because Brady not having that.
Yeah, you do that if you want to. Vontaze Burfict, the ghost of Vontaze Burfict come out here and choke slam you, boy.
Light you up, boy.
You get pile drive at the 50-yard line. What happened? It's the Undertaker. By God, that man has a family. We having fun, man. We having fun. But no, man, I think Dallas had a good draft, man. Looking at the picks, man.
B. I gave us a solid B. I wasn't,
that's great though.
Not a bunch of sexy picks. It was just a bunch of like role players who can come in and contribute.
If C's get degrees, then B's the B's are great.
No bullshit, because I take a C degree right now.
Hello.
Right.
But man, overall, we'll get ready to wrap this up, man. But overall, man, I think the draft was
fun.
Oh man.
And like for us, like I'm a draft head. Like I watch all 3 days. I watch the entire draft front to back while listening to podcasts about picks and whatnot. And shout out to Dane Brugler. He's my favorite like draft analyst. So I always follow like his mocks and what he got going on. And he's almost accurate with the players. So I love the draft process. Like I always envision like one of my kids walking that stage in the first round. Like, you know what I mean? It's a big deal. Like I love the draft.
Got a couple options now. All them kids.
Yeah, I got 3. Hope one of them hit.
All 3 hit over there, boy. You got some options.
Boy, if all 3 hit, boy, you gonna tell me nothing.
Bro, it'd be the Darnell media empire.
Yeah. Ball family, Hugh.
I know, but I was thinking about LeVar Ball the other day. Like he literally
big ball brand. Who
he manifested his 3 boys into the public eye and got 2 out of 3 in the league, bro.
He got all 3 of us in there at one point.
Sure did, but
it didn't work out. But
2 of the 3,
2 for sure.
And the baby is the guy.
It's killing it.
Melo is nasty, bro.
He the one who wanted the most.
You right.
He wanted the most. It's always the baby who wanted more.
You gotta watch out for the babies, man. But we said all that to say, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the DND Football Podcast. of course, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, make sure you hit us up at dndfootballpod@gmail.com. Once again, that's dndfootballpod@gmail.com. We'll answer any of your emails, any of your questions. And hey, if you communicate with us enough, might even bring you in. But look, we're going to have some special guests lined up on the next couple episodes. We're scheduled to have Mike Callow from ESPN 630 come back in and holler at us. He already hit me up today. He was like, he said, look, when Sam got drafted, he tweeted me. He was like, I know you ready for that. You best believe it.
That joint on back order. That brother had that pre-order ready for that joint.
On the way, bro. That joint, I might tape a number 7 on the back of this or something, you know. It's on the way. But now we'll have Mike Callow on in a couple episodes to chop it up and give us some more NFL news, possibly when the schedule releases. But definitely, man, we appreciate you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the YouTube page. More will be coming down the pipeline. I know it's not a lot up there, but trust and believe when it does come down the pipeline, you're going to wish you were there because, yeah, we about to get it popping, man. But, yeah, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Lee, you got anything before we get out of here?
Go Cowboys. Let's get it. Let's make this draft count. We done had 20 draft picks in the last 2 years. Y'all got to do something with it.
Hey, man, the NFL is king. It'll continue to be king as we march through the offseason and towards the preseason. We'll be right here as a companion for you and get you prepared along the way. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the DND Football Podcast. Peace and love, everybody.